It has been 3 weeks now since President Trump and Vladimir Putin's summit in Alaska, and here in Ukraine, the war seems to have no end in sight. This week, Russia launching its largest air attack since the war began. More than 800 armed drones and over a dozen cruise missiles. Smoke seen rising from Ukraine's cabinet building in Kyiv, with part of the building left on fire. That drone strike follows a Russian cruise missile strike on an American-owned factory in western Ukraine. President Trump said he was not happy with that attack and set another deadline for a meeting between Vladimir Putin and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. That deadline has now come and gone. The question of war or peace still hangs in the balance. We met President Zelensky in the rubble of that American factory hit by Russia and asked him about any prospects for negotiated peace in this years-long war.
The first strike was here.
And then the second of
Yeah, now we will see.
We met President Volodymyr Zelensky at this hollowed-out American-owned factory here in western Ukraine, destroyed by Russian cruise missiles 2 weeks ago. All 600 employees made it to the nearby bunker, but more than 20 were injured. This American-owned building, do you think Putin targeted this on purpose?
I think nobody knows, maybe only God. Yes, but Putin knows what he's doing. Here, 1,000 kilometers, the distance to the front, even a little bit more.
Not an area that's usually hit.
No.
In fact, this region in southwest Ukraine, hundreds and hundreds of miles from the war's front line, has rarely been hit over the entire course of the war. The factory produces everyday items from coffee machines to lamps to printer cartridges and is the largest employer in the region.
There are no any kind of military, this factories or these lines of production of drones or of production of electronic warfare. This is confirmation. Really, I'm not sure that is dangerous for Russia, second biggest army in the world.
The attack came just days after President Trump's Alaska summit with Vladimir Putin.
I'm not happy about it, and I'm not happy about anything having to do with that war. We'll see what happens. I think over the next 2 weeks, we're going to find out which way it's going to go. And I better be very happy.
President Trump had hoped for a ceasefire during the summit. He rolled out the red carpet, offered a warm handshake, a ride in the presidential limousine. But after a 3-hour closed-door meeting among the two leaders and their close advisors, no questions from the press, no ceasefire reached, no specifics announced.
Many points were agreed to. There are just a very few that are left. Some are not that significant. One is probably the most significant, but we have a very good chance of getting there. We didn't get there.
But the leaders' friendly relationship, which Trump has been criticized for, was on full display.
I've always had a fantastic relationship with President Putin, with Vladimir.
I would like to thank President Trump for our joint work, for the well-wishing and trustworthy tone of our conversation.
The Russian leader even backing up Trump's central claim about the war's beginning.
Today, when President Trump saying that if he was the president back then, there will be no war. And I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so. I can confirm that.
President Trump had originally wanted a trilateral meeting with President Zelensky in attendance. Putin vetoed that. Zelensky had to simply monitor from afar. The summit in Alaska. What was that like?
I was not there.
You were not there.
I was not there. What can I say?
You were here and you were watching that summit. What did you think when you saw that and you saw the red carpet and you saw Putin arrive to talk about your country?
I don't know. I think that it was bilateral summit, and it's a pity that Ukraine was not there, because I think that President Trump gave Putin what he wanted. He wanted very much to meet with President Trump, with the President of the United States, and I think that Putin got it, and it's a pity. Putin doesn't want to meet with me, but he wants very much to meet with the President of the United States, to show everybody video and images that he is there.
So did that accomplish anything as you looked at it, the summit? anything in terms of peace?
I don't know.
The White House touted the meeting as a success, but Secretary of State Marco Rubio told me at the time there were still big areas of disagreement.
We're still a long ways off. I mean, we're not at the precipice of a peace agreement. We're not at the edge of one, but I do think progress was made towards one.
And he downplayed President Trump's backtracking on his demand that a ceasefire be reached before the real negotiations begin.
That's not the aim of this. I mean, look, first of all, you're not going to reach
the president said that was the aim.
Agreement. Yeah, but you're not going to reach a ceasefire or a peace agreement in a meeting in which only one side is represented. That's why it's important to bring both leaders together, and that's the goal here. The president has said what he'd like to see at some point is we make enough progress so both leaders, Zelensky and Putin, can meet somewhere and finalize this.
President Trump was specific, setting a 2-week deadline for Putin to meet with Zelensky, with a vague threat attached.
What are the 2 ways you can go at the end of 2 weeks then?
Well, then I'm going to make a decision as to what we do. And it's going to be a very important decision, and that's whether or not it's massive sanctions or massive tariffs or both, or do we do nothing and say it's your fight? We're going to see whether or not they have a meeting. That'll be interesting to see. And if they don't, why didn't they have a meeting? Because I told them to have a meeting. But I'll know in 2 weeks what I'm going to do.
But 2 weeks later, no apparent action on the part of the White House. Mr. President, you talk about more sanctions and more tariffs and more help from President Trump. And you have told him you think he has the power to do this. And yet the deadlines pass again and again, and another one has passed.
We all understand that we need additional pressure on Putin. Putin doesn't understand and doesn't respect anything which doesn't have power. So he is such person. That's why he brought the war to our territory. He was sure that we will run away and nobody will help us. But oppositely, countries joined it around us and helped us, and we stay strong. Yes, too long. I think too long war. We have to stop it, but with pressure. We need pressure from the United States.
Putin has shown no serious interest in negotiations, instead proposing a scenario Zelensky immediately dismissed. He said he will meet if you come to Moscow.
He can come to Kyiv. You know, if a person doesn't want to meet during the war, of course he can propose something which can't be acceptable by me or by others, but it's understandable. I can't go to Moscow when my country is under missiles, under attacks each day. I can't go to this capital of these terrorists. It's understandable, and he understands it. It's the same proposition, as I said, that he has to come to Kyiv. Yeah, so it's understandable that he is doing it to postpone the meeting. We said. I always said we can't trust Putin. He plays games, and he's playing games with the United States. I think so. It's to my mind.
Do you think the possibility for a bilateral meeting is dead at this point?
No. It was signal from the president and from President Trump, and I said, look, Mr. President, I'm ready for any kind of meeting, but not in Russia. Any kind of meeting, bilateral, trilateral. If we need European friends, we'll be happy to see them. So we are ready for any kind of format. Sit and speak. Even preconditions which we had at the very beginning of the year, that ceasefire and then meeting. Then we spoke about security guarantees and then meeting. By the way, I'm thankful to the United States that if in the Washington, D.C., when we had meeting, the president said that America will be in security guarantees, and I hope that it will be.
Zelensky wants to see pressure not just on Putin, but anyone who deals with Russia. And according to a White House official, President Trump told European leaders that the purchase of Russian oil must stop.
I think that President Trump is right about that. Europeans, I'm very thankful to all the partners, but some of them, they continue buy oil and Russian gas, and this is not fair. To be open and to be clear, it's not fair. So we have to stop buy any kind of energy from Russia, and by the way, anything, any deals with Russia. We can't have any deals if we want to stop them. The most power has White House, and I really count that President Trump will do it with pressure on Putin, and this is only one way how to stop the killer. You need to take off his, to take off his weapon. Energy is his weapon.
Trump turned to his favorite economic tool as a way to pressure India to stop buying Russian energy. He doubled the tariffs on nearly all Indian exports to the U.S. to a whopping 50% as punishment. But days after those tariffs went into effect, India's prime minister was in China, seen sharing a laugh and even holding hands with Putin. You saw the meeting this week, though, between Modi and Putin and Xi. And President Trump has said that they have gone to the dark side with China. When you saw Modi there, who has helped Russia, so did the plan backfire of trying to put sanctions on them?
No, I think the idea to put tariffs on the countries who continue to make deals with Russia, I think this is right idea. In any way, it's about justice. And I don't know how it works, because to feel how sanctions work, we need time. To feel and to count how it works, how tariffs work, again, we need a little bit time. But again, when we put sanctions, if we want just to understand how sanctions work, yes, we need not to give any kind of possibility to any kind of partners to circumvent these sanctions, to help Russia.
Zelensky has maintained that Ukraine, which lacks NATO membership, must have security guarantees as part of any peace agreement. Standing alongside Zelensky, French President Emmanuel Macron announced last week that a group of 26 countries, dubbed the Coalition of the Willing, have formally committed to be present on the ground, at sea, in the air, to reassure Ukrainians after a ceasefire is reached. Macron said there is no doubt that the U.S. will be part of the security guarantees.
We'll help them. Look, we want to save a lot of lives, so we'll do something with that. I think people expect that. We'll help them. Europe will be first in by far, and they want to be first, and they want to see it end. It's going to come together. You watch.
I know you don't want to give any details about what you specifically discussed in Paris, but they have said they will provide security guarantees if there is a ceasefire, if there is peace. Tell us what you can. Does that mean thousands of troops, European troops, not U.S.?
The first is a strong Ukrainian army, and I think that everybody understands it. Generals from the EU, United States, they understand that any security guarantees in Ukraine can be based only on our army. And so then it's a weapon and brigades, complication of the brigades, and this is our internal production of drones, first of all, and missiles, and we need funds for this, financing. We don't have it, really, not enough. Then American weapon, which only United States has. It's air defense, Patriot, priority missiles and HIMARSs, and
how about air support? Any kind of air support?
Yeah, and
in addition,
plus Europeans, and of course we spoke about air support. We need air defense shield, but shield is not only air defense systems, and it's also about the jets. Jets we used F-16s. We have old F-16s be open, but they're good. We can work
better
on
than
that.
nothing, for sure.
It's true. We are thankful for everything. Yeah.
Do you imagine a buffer zone with the United States helping with that, a demilitarizing?
I will tell you about buffer zone. This is not. It's. I mean this. This is a big mistake. This is the new war. We have for today drone lines. We have death zone. From 10 kilometers to 20 kilometers, different places, different points between us. So any kind of tank or armored vehicle or motorcycle or everything what is coming here to this zone, 10 kilometers, everything is burned everything is destroyed by the drones. So we already have this buffer zone.
One of Putin's demands for ending the war, taking over Ukraine's Donbass region in the east. I asked Zelensky why this region is so important to his country. He wanted to answer in Ukrainian and outline the strategic benefits the region holds. The Donbass. Explain to people why that is a non-starter, to give all the Donbass to Russia.
Наша історія, наші домівки.
It's the most fortified part, with the most capable forces. It's like a fortress, he told me. And if we withdraw our troops and he will have all the Donbass, who can guarantee that he won't move 90 kilometers further on Kharkiv? He always wanted Kharkiv. But for Zelensky and the people of Ukraine, this issue is about more than practicalities.
Різниця між мною і Путіним.
There's a difference between me and Putin, he says. He's fighting for something where he doesn't have a clue about the details. He just fights for territory. But we are fighting for our lives and our lands, for the loved ones who are buried there. We are fighting for our people, but he is not. Ukraine was a major focus of Donald Trump's campaign to retake the White House, with a consistent pledge to quickly end the war in Ukraine.
Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the disastrous war between Russia and Ukraine settled. It will be settled quickly. It'll be settled. I know them both very well. Get it done very quickly, maybe in 24 hours. That is a war that's dying to be settled. I will get it settled before I even become president.
Back in 2023, when President Zelensky first heard of Trump's ambitious timeline, he told me he was skeptical it was achievable. Donald Trump says he would end the war in 24 hours if he was elected president.
Мені здається.
The desire to end the war is beautiful, but the desire must be based on some real-life experience, Zelensky said. And I don't think that is easy, to bring the war to an end in 24 hours. Zelensky was right. Achieving peace has proven to be a far bigger challenge than Trump ever expected.
The one that I thought would be maybe one of the easiest, you know that feeling? You think one thing is going to be easier, turns out to be a little bit tougher, and we'll get it done. But that's turned out to be the most difficult of the group.
When Zelensky and I met this past June, weeks before any plans for the Alaska summit, he was skeptical not just about the time frame, but about President Trump's insistence that Putin wants peace.
Путін не хоче закінчувати.
I feel strongly Putin does not want to end the war without total defeat of Ukraine, he told us.
При всій повазі до...
With all due respect to President Trump, Zelensky said, I think it's just his personal opinion. Trust me, we understand the Russians much better, the mentality of the Russians, than the Americans understand the Russians. I know for sure Putin doesn't want to stop the war, saying that nobody outside of Ukraine can truly comprehend their fight. It's not about President Trump, Zelensky said. Anyone living thousands of miles away can't fully understand the pain. In our most recent conversation in southwestern Ukraine this week, Zelensky said he did believe President Trump truly wants the war to end. Are you confident, 100% confident, that the Trump administration will see you through to a realistic peace?
No, I think that president wants to finish this war, and I think he has all the issues to do it. It's not simple, but if we speak about just and lasting peace, it's important to finish and not to have possibility that to have aggression again in 6 months, in 1 year, in 2 years. It's not only important only to stop the war. Yes, it's very important, but to have a lasting peace, to have a security.
3.5 years into this war, the front line is mostly stagnant. Both sides have suffered incredible loss. The war is being fought on Ukrainian soil, but the estimated Russian casualties are significantly higher. So far, the loss has not deterred Putin, who appears as committed as ever to continuing the conflict. What does victory look like in Ukraine?
Victory, to my mind, Putin's goal is to occupy Ukraine. This is to destroy us, occupy. And did he occupy it?
No. But
It means that he didn't win. It means that we have Ukraine.
But he still wants to win.
Yes, but till he didn't occupy us, we win. And I think so, because we have our country. And of course, he understands it very clearly. He wants, of course, to occupy us totally. For him, this victory. And until he can't do it, the victory is on our side. Very painful. It's not victory when you smile, applause. It's not about it. To my mind, there is no victory with applauses. Yes, in the war, because a lot of losses. So that's why, for us to survive is a victory. Because we are surviving with our identity, with our country, with our independence.